Why can't we? Why will they not return our phone calls?
Also arsenic in the water, in the White Rock water.
That's right. The filtration plant will take arsenic levels out. The arsenic and manganese levels are not above the accepted levels yet. We think that the big push is because they want to put all the high rises they can possibly fit in here, overload our system, and if there's a breakdown, they can say, well, here we added chlorine or chloramine to the water, right? It's not about us, it's about the dollar. There's no consideration for us. They don't return emails. They don't give us any information. We don't have any test results from the water tests that will confirm why they want to put chloramine in the water. They will offer us nothing. So, that being said, thanks for coming out again. And I'm going to introduce the first speaker, which is David. Can I have that cheat sheet there? Okay. David will introduce himself.
I might be able to talk without this?
This won't get this will have no feedback.
No, but do you think I could just talk loud enough?
Now can you hear me?
When you are turning to the right and left, we are missing.
You're missing it?
Just
Back up a little bit.
Okay.
There you go.
If you want to hold this and I'll hold this.
One more back so everybody.
Okay, sorry.
There's teamwork. Good teamwork.
And don't forget to sign the petitions, please.
Yeah.
Make sure the city gets it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. My name's David Riley. I'm a director with the Little Campbell Watershed Society. I think you may have read the column that Don Pitcairn wrote in the White Rock Sun, or the article in the Peace Arch News about the fish kill in the Fergus Creek. Now, bear with me. In a minute, you'll know why I want to talk about that. The two fish kills happened in 1989 and 1990 during an experiment that the city of Surrey did for GVRD, now Metro Vancouver, in order to find out how chloramine would work in the system. During the experiment, this wasn't found in either article, there were 80 pipe breaks. In a bad year in Metro Vancouver, there's 500 plus pipe breaks. Those are the official pipe breaks. They don't include the little ones, the seeps that last for days, and then a neighbor happens to find it, and so on and so forth. When the fish got killed, that wasn't the entire amount of damage that happened in that creek. By the time the second fish kill happened, the creek was toasted from one end to the other. And I mean every amphibian, every invertebrate, every fish. The fish could be seen jumping above the surface of the water. They had nowhere to go. In the case of White Rock residents, we have somewhere to go, but I don't think we want to go. I think we just don't want chloramine. So what happened then? Surrey went to court. DFO took them to court. There was a judgment. There was a full trial over this because it was a big fine. The judicial context that came out of this was the judge saying, and we haven't managed to get a copy of the transcript yet, but I'm told the judge said, medical health is the business of local governments, and so is the environment. The way GVRD accepted this judgment is they felt that they had to do a full environmental assessment on every aspect of chloramine versus chlorine. They were determined that they were going to go to one or the other. So, and they pretty well had to, because they don't have White Rock water. They have surface water. It's got a high organic content. Too loud?
No.
Oh, okay. It's different water. The water here, we all know, is the gift. It's the legacy. It's completely unique. The only other place near here that has water like this is Clearbrook. Clearbrook that has no chlorine being added at the moment. Other people will talk about that, talk about the chemistry, the health issues. I'm just going to talk about the environmental history. So GVRD took it upon themselves to do a massive public process. That process, I can show you in writing, everyone that went to that process found that process fair, transparent, comprehensive. They took months to do it. Many people participated in it. Then they talked to the engineers. They talked to the biologists. They talked to a lot of people. The Regional Engineers Advisory Committee to GVRD advised against chloramine. They said, if you want to use chloramine, you have to do full treatment at every single outfall. That was 1,700 outfalls back then into aquatic habitats in the region. You have to do that. The engineers turned around and said, well, that's too much money. I guess we better go with chlorine. So I'm not talking about the health issues. I have health issues. I'm concerned about this. I don't want this in my body, but I'm just talking about what happened in terms of the environment. They looked at it. They asked every individual municipality. The majority of them looked at all the data. They said, we don't want chloramine. We'll post all the letters that show the municipalities saying we don't want chloramine. White Rock, of course, wasn't asked because White Rock already had a different system. So I just wanted to give people that background on how chloramine was rejected. We haven't seen any chloramine containment strategy from the city of White Rock, but we know they would have to shut off every city sprinkler system. They would have to make sure every single pipe break, including ones in the middle of the night, have treated water. It's not going to happen. Ironically, this disaster happened in a creek that's in Surrey, but is also fed stormwater by White Rock. So we could have a similar problem happen right in the same creek. We could have White Rock getting fined instead of Surrey getting fined. But that shouldn't happen because this city needs to do a full environmental assessment of the environmental issues. That's on top of the fact that they need to talk to the community about the health issues. They can invite Hans Schreier. He's Mr. Water in BC. He's won awards around the world. Everybody knows who he is. We could have a real public process in White Rock as to how we should be looking at this issue. I'm just going to say that for now. Unless anybody's got a specific environmental question, I'm going to let other people talk about health issues, chemistry issues, public process issues. I don't know if anybody has a question specifically. Yeah.
It's only just reading, but San Francisco Bay Area apparently trialed the chloramine.
Still have it in, still have it in a lot of areas.
Repeat the question.
In the area in San Francisco called the Hetchy catchment area, they still have it. And in that area, they're near the ocean. So they studied the ocean. They have a dead zone in the ocean because it doesn't matter what you do. You can't we live right beside the ocean. If you look at the entire region, I mean, not many places have as much area that tight to the ocean. If you look at all Surrey, they have a band around the ocean. You look at the rest of the Lower Mainland, they have a band. We're right beside the ocean. We're going to be putting water into the ocean, not to mention the Little Campbell River, the other creeks that go into the Little Campbell River. You get a dead zone. How big is the dead zone? We're not going to study it here. We don't have, there's no government that's going to study that, so we won't know. Will it be the same as the ones in the U.S.? We don't know because we don't know what the final results will be in terms of the chemistry. It takes years before you get the disaster. And it's like every other environmental disaster. Well, let's see what happens, folks. And, well, if we have a disaster, we'll talk about it later.